They let Ristov go, let Frempong go. Tam.
Where's Ristov now?
I don't know, but he'd been there for years. He'd been there for 6 years.
Yeah. Who's the guy that was? Is it Brian Shriver? Where's he?
Don't know. He was in Richmond last year. But if you, they do not have a. They have one player born in the '80s, and it's their backup goalkeeper. So they do not have a field position player. They have one guy that just turned 29. And he's not even the 18 tonight. Acker's 28. And he's not in the 18 tonight either because he's hurt. Hopino, 28. Rennie says he's a character.
On this first day of the month of May, it's just the second time this season that the Indy 11 have taken to the home pitch here at Lucas Oil Stadium. And one of their longest term rivals, the Tampa Bay Rowdies, come to Indianapolis without a loss on the season. We thank you for joining us for USL Championship Soccer here on Wish TV and ESPN+. The story for the Indy 11, goals aplenty, especially from Dane Kelly, the all-time leading goal scorer in the USL Championship. 71 for his career, but 4 in his last 3 matches with the Indy 11. A familiar face will be on the pitch at some point tonight for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. That being Zach Steinberger, played for the Indy 11 last year and part of 2015 as well, and played collegiately at Butler University before being a first-round draft pick in Major League Soccer. Always good when these two teams get together. The Tampa Bay Rowdies, the Indy 11. I'll welcome in Brad Hodder, and your starting lineups come your way next, right here on Wish TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hands to your destination with the singing of the national anthem performed tonight by Rachel Williams.
Indy 11 Soccer on Wish TV is brought to you by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, proud to be the official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. And by Community Health, exceptional care simply delivered. Community Health Network. Just moments away from kickoff, the Indy 11 kicking off an entire month of May into June where they are at home. Tonight is the first of a 5-game homestand in USL Championship play. As always, thanks for joining us. Greg Rakestraw, Brad Hodder with you on both Wish TV and ESPN+. We talked about Dane Kelly in the open. We cannot talk about him enough. We saw him miss a couple of chances here in the last home match, a victory against Hartford back on March 31st. He has been electric ever since.
Everything as advertised. I mean, you knew he was going to connect on some of the ones he hit the post on and the balls that he's missed, but holy smokes is he electric.
Dane Kelly, you're going to see a goal here against the Bethlehem Steel. That, of course, was a win for the Indy 11, and these two finishes, ridiculous.
Incredible. He really has it all. He can score with his right foot, score with his left foot. He can play a speed game. He can play a finesse game. He has everything.
The goal you saw there was against Swope Park Rangers on April the 15th. This one on April the 28th, as in 3 days ago. He likes to bake with a side of nutmeg. 1-0. Indy 11 had the lead, but they would lose for the first time since the season opener, giving up 2 goals in the second half at Red Bulls 2.
Yeah, tough. You know, you love the fight in Dane Kelly to work through the defender and be able to finish that ball one touch. But it did feel like they took their foot off the gas a little bit, dropped that one to New York. So I'm expecting a strong performance and a rebound today.
Our starting lineups brought to us by Honda Manufacturing of Indiana, the official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. Just two changes from Sunday's game. The captain, Matt Watson, and Kenny Walker coming back from injury inserted into the starting 11 for head coach Martin Rennie. Now the flip side for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. We touched on Zach Steinberger because he's the familiar face. Another player is their leading goal scorer that is a familiar face as an opponent. Longtime member of the New York Cosmos, Sebastian Guenzatti, 5 goals to pace the Rowdies.
Yeah, he's been fantastic, and he's one of those guys that we've had to watch for a number of years, and he is incredibly talented.
This team has been stingy defensively. They have not given up more than a goal in a game this season, and they've given up just 4 goals in their first 8 games. Part of the reason why they're one of 2 teams across the entire league yet to pick up a loss.
Yeah, and you look at it too, and it's not that they're not giving up shots defensively. Their goalkeeper's what, number 2 in the league in saves? So they're giving up some opportunities, but they're all manageable.
Speaking of goalkeepers, there is Evan Newton, just 13 saves on the season for the first-year netminder for the Indy 11, but 6 of those came in that 2-1 loss against Red Bulls 2 3 days ago.
Yeah, it was a busy afternoon for him.
Not the standard green and gold we've been used to seeing from the Rowdies over the year. They call these the Volt uniforms. There's something. Thanks for joining us for Indy 11 Soccer here on Wish TV and ESPN+. Good look at John McCarthy. In goal for the Tampa Bay Rowdies, spent the last 4 years as the primary backup for the Philadelphia Union in Major League Soccer. He has played every minute of every match so far this year for Tampa Bay. It talked about his saves, 22 through 6 games. Again, that's second in the Eastern Conference, 6th overall in the USL Championship. Here is Guenzatti. 2 goals from the spot, 3 from the run of play. Wearing the captain's armband. Sebastian, a great comeback story. He missed the end of the 2016 season and almost all of 2017, overcoming a knee injury. And he is back to the form that made him somebody you kept your eye on as an Indy 11 fan from 2014 through 2016. Right. Quick conversation from Elvis Osmanovic, our match referee for tonight's contest. He and Guenzatti having a bit of an extended conversation. Sebastian wearing the captain's armband for Tampa Bay. Matt Watson with it on his arm for the Indy 11. We have seen Matt play as a reserve more often this year than as a starter. But again, with having played on Sunday and then playing again on Saturday evening, not surprised to see some roster roll over for the Indy 11 in tonight's match.
And you'd think, you know, an older player, you wouldn't necessarily put him on the outside where he's got more ground to cover, but he is so effective in turning that last edge defender and either serving the early ball or slotting a ball across the middle.
Speaking of Matt Watson, ball directed his way right now. Time now to take a look at our injury report brought to us by Community Health Sports Medicine, official sports medicine provider of the Indy 11. Ilya Illich and Eugene Starikov both out. We've only seen both players briefly so far this season. And while the Indy 11 offensively have not missed a beat because of Dane Kelly, Thomasina Voltson, Tyler Pasher, it certainly does affect their depth at that top line position.
Think about how scary that is when they're going to get healthy.
Illich, part of back-to-back USL Cup winning teams in Louisville City each of the last couple of years, and Starikov, in terms of goals per minute, led the Indy 11 in that stat last year. Only played about a half a season last year, but he was electric as any Indy 11 player was in 2018. This is Patty Barrett. He's been wearing the captain's armband when Matt Watson has not been on the field.
Great combination.
The run here going by Tyler Gibson. Tyler wearing the number that Brad Ring wore for the last 5 years with the Indy 11. We bring that up because Saturday night will be Brad Ring night. Here's the Indy 11 take on North Carolina FC, honoring the franchise's all-time leader in matches played. There's a special scarf that will be available only that night. That's one of the many great reasons you have to come watch the Indy 11 on Saturday when they take on another very good team. Just like Tampa Bay this evening, North Carolina FC off to a similar outstanding start in 2019.
Always exciting things happen when North Carolina's in town.
Well, it is fitting that these two teams are playing against the Indy 11 in a 4-day span. The first 2 matches in Indy 11 history
oh my God, you serious?
were against those 2 teams back in April of 2014.
You are incredible. See, I think you're going to see a lot of this today. Both of these teams are playing with really dynamic attacking pieces and with a 3-back system. So you're going to see a lot of just punching it into seams and punching it into channels and seeing if one of these guys can track it down.
Here's Ina Voltson, 20 goals last year for Orange County. Has 2 so far this season for the Indy 11. Gibson knocked away, but Barrett is there to recover. Those 2, half of the 4 former FC Cincinnati players on the field currently for Indy 11. Time now for our Keys the Match, presented by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11.
Well, for Indy, they've got to get impactful touches in the attacking third. You've got dynamic, game-changing pieces up there. You need to give them the ball in places where they can do some things. And then you got to be very cautious of Guenzati and Fernandez. They account for half of the Tampa Bay Rowdies goals and half the assists. Those are 2 players that can change the game with a single touch. For Tampa Bay, they have to manage the opening minutes. The Indy 11 have scored first in every game this season, and Tampa Bay has given up the lion's share of their goal in the first half. In fact, they get stronger as the game goes on. They've only given up 1 second-half goal. So if they can manage the opening half, they're going to be in great shape. And they have to kill the counter. You take a look at moments like this where their shape gets a little bit suspect here in the back with 2. If they turn the ball over and Indy can get out on the break and get into the counter with Dane Kelly's speed or Tyler Pasher's speed or Ina Voltson's creativity, they're going to be very, very dangerous. So the Rowdies are going to do well to kill the counter as soon as they have a turnover.
Corner coming here for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. It is Andrew Tenari that will take it for the Rowdies. Spent each of the last 2 seasons with New York Red Bulls 2. An outstanding acquisition by the Rowdies in the offseason. He has a pair of goals on the year, looking for the assist here. This is Juan Tejada. Tejada's got a goal this year. Now Leo Fernandez on the USL Team of the Week. Last week for the Rowdies, he had a goal and 2 assists. 4 assists for Fernandez on the season, tied for 3rd in the league and tops in the Eastern Conference.
And you can see how effective he is. A quick move to get some separation, and then is able to serve that ball with half a touch.
Martin Running, 2nd year in as the head coach of the Indy 11. Watching this from the sidelines, Newton got a glove to it. Oduro didn't get everything he wanted to on it. Not out of danger yet. Now it is. And look at Pasher fly down the field. Ioze, always a good option.
Look at that. How impressive is it? You got Pasher, you got Kelly, you got Ioze, and Ina Voltson all on a break.
And Ina Voltson gives it a crack.
What a shot.
McCarthy up to the early challenge in minute number 8. The native of Denmark. Last year, his first year playing in the States. And what an impressive year that was for one of the better teams in the Western Conference. Pasher looking for Kelly. Sent that one just a little bit high. And the ricochet, the carom, goes the way of Tampa Bay. Here's Gibson, the native of Knoxville, Tennessee. His season was limited last year because of an early injury. Suffered in preseason training while with FC Cincinnati. But he's familiar to Indy 11 fans from his days with the San Francisco Deltas 2 years ago, where he was a teammate of now a man in his 2nd year with the Indy 11 and Carl Ouimet. These 2 teams played to a pair of 2-goal victories a season ago. The Indy 11 lost at Al Lang Stadium in St. Petersburg 3-1 was one of the rare 2-goal losses that the Indy 11 had last season. And you could say the same thing for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. The last time they lost by 2 goals or more was here in Indianapolis on September the 26th, towards the tail end of last season. And frankly, that might have been Indy's best performance of the year. Neil Collins just removed from his playing days the Tampa Bay Rowdies. He was named the manager of the Rowdies in May. And his career resume is beyond impressive. Sunderland, Sheffield United, Wolverhampton, Preston North End, Leeds, all during his playing days. And like Martin Rennie, a native of Scotland. So one thing you see a lot of this year with the Indy 11, they find ways to create space. Barrett going to give it a go. That's rare for Patty. Never closed down. Figured he'd try an early look on goal.
Yeah, McCarthy's picking up a few extra saves here tonight from distance.
McCarthy, a native of Philadelphia, as we mentioned, played for the Union. There's a lot of former Union products and New York Red Bulls 2 products with this Rowdies team. Simply a lot of good players. One thing you notice, this is a team that got younger in terms of their field players. And a player on the field tonight over the age of 30 for the Rowdies.
I mean, you can see, I mean, they're playing to that style. It's a very high-paced, pressing team. It'd be interesting to see how long they can sustain that. They also played this weekend.
This is their 3rd match in 8 days. Hackshaw now with a good run going. He's got a pair of goals this year. Enevoldsen just got squared off of it. And it will be a corner kick for the Indy 11. By the way, this portion of the match presented by Community Health Sports Medicine. Dream big, work hard, and finish strong.
What a serve. What a great step by Richards to get in front of Enevoldsen and just get enough of that ball.
That is Caleb Richards. He is all of 20 years of age.
Unreal.
Defender from England. And as you'd expect, Ioze will take the corner. Last year, one of the league leaders in terms of assists. Of players with size, Hackshaw is an obvious target. Has goals against St. Louis and Bethlehem already. The man from Trinidad and Tobago and formerly of the Charleston Battery. And not surprisingly, he's at the center of the conversation. He and Patty Barrett both.
I like the congestion here at the top of the box. You've got Enevoldsen on the backside. I think with Fernandez on him, 1v1. And if Ioze sees it and can deliver that ball into the back of the 6, I love that matchup.
Ioze does have 1 assist on the year. He had several more a season ago. Looking for one here. Barrett got a head to it. And McCarthy fends it up and over the bar.
Wow, that was not an easy save. That ball had some pace on it.
Good look by Barrett. Well played by a man that's only let in 4 goals this season.
Yeah, the tough part too with that is there's so much congestion around the box. You don't know who's going to hit that ball, so you're not sure who to key on.
We're going to have a little conversation before we play anymore. It looks like there's also going to be a yellow card shown as well. And Ioze is being told to leave the discussion. And so Barrett has been shown a yellow.
Oh.
So he's going to get written in the book. So Barrett picks up a yellow card at minute number 14. How does that affect him for the rest of the match, Brad?
Well, hopefully he's going to be able to get himself composed, and he's a veteran, so he's going to be able to do that. But one, he's on the watch list now, and then second, the way that conversation lasted longer than it needed to, maybe he's under the skin of Elvis.
Barrett got ahead to it, and a foul has been called against the Indy 11. Goal kick coming for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Second yellow of the season against Patty Barrett. There have been a handful of yellows issued to the Indy 11 this year, but he is the first player in match number 7 to pick up his second of the season. As far as players on caution watch tonight for the Rowdies, Dominic Oduro is one caution away from sitting for a match because of yellow card accumulation. Foul whistled against the Rowdies. Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the finest leagues in the world. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, visit SelectSportAmerica.com. Kone has been one of the more physical players so far for Tampa Bay, and he is the player that was whistled for that violation. And this can be a dangerous distance for Ioze. Looking back post, Barrett couldn't keep it in play. We saw Ioze be an absolute wizard with that left foot at times a season ago. Next to Martin Rennie, you saw Juan Guerra. Finished his playing career with the Indy 11 last year, now a full-time assistant coach. He too also played for the Tampa Bay Rowdies during his lengthy playing career.
I'll tell you the impressive thing to imagine that you're with the team for a season and then you move into that assistant coach role. There's so much that goes on in the locker room, on the practice field, in the games that Coach Rennie is looking at and saying, hey, this is a good guy to help lead the program. It speaks volumes to Juan Guerra.
And frankly, he was offered the role of being a player and an assistant coach. And he said, I'd like to focus on coaching. So the team was happy to oblige. Giveaway by the Indy 11. Cronali back on it quickly. We've referenced Thomasina Boltson playing with Orange County a season ago, as did Alex Cronali. He is on loan from the Columbus Crew, but second straight year he has played in the USL, what is now the USL Championship level. Not the most graceful of touches for either side there. Game still yet to kind of really establish a rhythm at this point, and that'll be a foul on Gibson for the late challenge. Oduro, the player that took the contact from Gibson. Fans, you can show your Indy 11 pride and get your exclusive Indiana Members Credit Union Indy 11 debit card at any Indiana Members Credit Union branch or online at imcu.com today. And Ioze got yanked to the ground by Tejada. And Tejada will be excused from the ball by Neville Hackshaw.
This is going to be interesting. We're what, 20 minutes in here, and it's a physical game.
It got chippy early, did it not?
It did.
That's a lot of hair in that shot, is it not? Something you and I have no idea being in that conversation.
Yeah, no, don't bring that up.
Tejada again, part of this youth movement. He just turned 22 a couple of months ago. Native of Panama, does have a goal this season. Last time out, a 1-1 draw for the Rowdies against the Charlotte Independents. Both goals in that match were scored in the first 17 minutes. The tally for the Rowdies by their leading goal scorer, and Sebastian Guenzati, who just picked up the foul against Neville Hackshaw. Hackshaw will race back to play that to safety to Evan Newton. He directs the ball right back at his new teammate. And Evan last year outstanding between the posts for FC Cincinnati. For the Indy 11, currently 3 players on the pitch who were with the team a year ago, and the ball is at the feet of one of them, in Tyler Pasher. You know, he was limited because of injuries a season ago. The lead for Watson. And that'll be a foul on Barrett, and Barrett's got to be careful. And if Barrett gets shown a card, his night is over. The Indy 11 are playing a man down. Barrett just picked up a red card in the 20th minute. So Barrett now will sit on Saturday night, and the Indy 11 will play a man down for the last 70 minutes of the match.
Wow.
First red card of the season for the Indy 11. And Patty's night ends early. And that changes everything that will happen from this point forward.
Yeah, and you asked, after the first yellow card, how does it change the game for him? And a tackle like that at midfield, you're sitting on a yellow. It's they're not in a dangerous spot at that point. You don't need to make that contact.
Yellow cards 2 and 3 on the season for Patty Barrett. First red of the year for the Indy 11. And you'll start to see some of the Indy 11 reserves start to get loose. Because right now you're down a defender, so you may have to sub in a player and take off an attacking player and go into point conservation mode. You see Macaulay King and Carl Wimet are the players that are loosening for the Indy 11. Of course, we met a stalwart of last year's team. We have not seen as much of him over the last month. And King has been a starter in 5 of 6 games so far. And you referenced the countering ability of the Indy 11 in our Honda keys to this game. That has now tripled in importance for the Indy 11.
Yeah, and you take a look at the pace that you've got with Pasher, the pace that you've got with Kelly, and you can sit back in. You can absorb the loss of this player by sitting in a little bit more compact defensively, dropping your lines a little bit, and just keeping Kelly high and seeing if you can find the space, seeing if you can pull Tampa a little bit out of shape, find that space and knock that ball into it and have him go chase it.
Well, knowing the importance of this homestanding and some of the other teams that are currently in playoff positions, and clearly the Rowdies with 16 points through 8 matches are of that group. Not the way that Indy had envisioned it starting. And thinking back to a year ago, I can't remember the Indy 11 playing a man down for this long in a match all of last year.
I agree. There were, 2, 3 red cards last year?
I remember Nico Matern got one in the loss at Red Bulls 2 in the second half.
Wimet had one at some point through the year.
Correct, but I think it was late in the match. And Martin Rooney sharing his displeasure with the 4th official, who will likely get an earful from Martin for the remainder of the evening.
But you look at the decision to start Matty Watson. Here you've got a veteran player that's been with Coach Rennie for a number of years. So when you lose, Patty Barrett, your right back, the soccer IQ of Matt Watson allows him to be versatile, come back and fill that role. Then you slide Tyler Pasher back into Matt Watson's role, and now you're leaving Kelly up high and Ina Voltson up high, and see if you can find one.
We bragged about it with last year's group, and I think it applies to this too, and it's what you're talking about, positional flexibility. This group has it. Hackshaw gets a good run going. Great flick by Kelly, but Oduro has it covered, and now Hackshaw's got to race back down the field. And Fernandez, right idea by Tampa Bay, just the pass a bit errant.
Yeah, and those are the moments where it's going to come from. You're going to have this little break where you can get out. You've got some space and a couple guys playing off of each other and just seeing if you can find a channel to play that ball. And then, you got to, with that turnover, you got to be able to kill it or hope that Tampa Bay has a turnover like they just did right there instead of countering the open channels.
Fans follow the Indy 11 and the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN Plus, home of the USL, MLS, UFC, and more. There are over 2 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN Plus and watch the championship live every week. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com.
I tell you, Tejada is not shy about pressing any ball on any player in any part of the field.
Fernandez. Good looking cross here. Tenari couldn't settle. And it will be a corner kick coming for the Rowdies.
I'll tell you what I thought too in transition. I thought Fernandez had one seam to get it into Tejada at the top of the box if he saw him early.
Tenari, 2 goals, 2 assists this year. And Iose, a left back who plays more like a winger or a forward at times. He's going to be tested a lot more defensively now for the remainder of the evening.
And yet he's the guy, if he sits kind of in that channel in between the lines of the back line and the midfield, he's the guy that can deliver that ball over the top in the exact spot that Dane Kelly needs it.
The service in. Cronali is there. Oduro gives it a blast. And that's headed towards the windows.
Yeah, if you're Coach Rennie, if you're Evan Newton, you will take that all day.
And because of the short day for Patty Barrett, it will also now be a short day for Tyler Pasher. So here comes the tactical switch for the Indy 11. Carl Ouimet will come in. Pasher will exit. So through no fault of his own, Pasher will be nice and rested for Saturday night's game against North Carolina FC. And you'll go back to your more traditional defensive back four with Ouimet, who can play center back or outside back. Now returning to the lineup.
It's the tough part about this decision is you lose the pace of Tyler Pasher. You lose one of the guys that can hit that that space on a counter that you drop it in behind the back line.
Thankfully, you still have the speed of Dane Kelly on the field for the Indy 11. And he might be a solo flyer for a good chunk of the night for the Indy 11. Tejada can't get on the end of it. Of course, Ouimet, one of the leaders in terms of appearances and minutes played for the Indy 11 a season ago. Native of Quebec with the San Francisco Deltas in 2017, has spent time with the Montreal Impact, with the New York Red Bulls. We saw him in Jacksonville, the North American Soccer League as well. One of the players back from last year under Martin Runny, returning to the Indy 11.
And correct me if I'm wrong, if you feel the need to. You're good at that. He's a homegrown. I mean, he was the Montreal DA product that came up through the system.
Correct. Ouimet playing the right back role again, spelling Patty Barrett. Fans, you can join us every Saturday morning for Soccer Saturday on 107.5 FM and 1070 The Fan. We'll preview Saturday's match with former Indy 11 man Ben Spees, now playing for North Carolina FC. We reference the fact that it's Brad Ring night. We'll talk to the legend himself. We'll hear from head coach Martin Runny and much more. Probably talk a little Champions League Liverpool-Barca at some point in the show as well. All Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on 107.5 FM and 1070 The Fan. Well, the first 50 minutes of possession largely in favor of the Indy 11. That will probably not be the case for the rest of the night. Cronali will simply knock that ball back to midfield. Playing a man down like this for the entirety of a match, what does that do to a team psychologically?
But you just change your tactics a little bit. I mean, you know, there's the physical component of it that everybody's just got to elevate, and maybe elevate their level another 10% to make up for that missing player. But then tactically, everybody's been in this situation before, so you got to sit in, you got to shrink the lanes. We're going to defend, we're going to defend, we're going to defend. We're going to wait for those opportunities, and when they do develop, we all got to go. We got to support it. We really got to push that chance.
What does that do to the legs when you're going to turn and play 3 days later?
Well, the nice part about this is you're sitting back. You're not defending the entire field, so you're really kind of compacting things in front of the box where you're making 20, 30-yard runs instead of having to get box to box.
Kenny Walker getting the start. Just his 3rd start of the season.
Here you go. Here's one of those chances.
Finishing the thought on Walker. He was out because of an abdominal injury. He has 3 assists in just 210 minutes on the season coming in. Good step by Richards for Tampa Bay.
Now that's a veteran step. What is he, 20 years old, you say? It's a veteran step. Don't let Dane Kelly get his first touch. All it takes, and you can see how creative it is, a little bit of flick as Richards is approaching him, and then get in and use his speed into the space behind the defender.
Richards has played every minute but 1 so far this year for the Rowdies. Both these teams have had 6 players start every match of this young season. For Tampa Bay, this is their 9th match of the year. For the Indy 11, it's just their 7th. And they are one of 3 teams currently in a playoff position in the Eastern Conference that have played just 6 matches coming into tonight. The other 2 are Ottawa and expansion side Birmingham. By the way, Birmingham is in action tonight as they are taking on Red Bulls 2. This porch of the match presented by Honda Manufacturing of Indiana, official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. Well, this is to some degree the exact opposite to how we have seen the Indy 11 play this year. They have been much more free-flowing up and down the field. But necessity is the mother of invention. And you see a more conservative approach for the Indy 11 for the remainder of this match.
And this is an important 15 minutes if they can navigate this and go in 0-0 at the half and get a little bit of a rest, make any kind of little adjustments and tweaks that you need to.
And Ouimet heads that back to Newton.
Little moments like this just allow guys to walk to their shape.
Frankly, this team hasn't had to call on Evan Newton this much. They did on Sunday against Red Bulls 2. One of the goals scored by Red Bulls 2 was on a penalty. That was the equalizing goal around the 60th minute. He has not had to be spectacular. We have seen him be spectacular in this building for an opposing team in FC Cincinnati last year. He may be required to be that way playing a man down for so long this evening. And now, kind of once the advantage ended, the whistle blows for the foul.
Yeah, I love the pace that Tejada plays with. I love the pressure that he's applying. It's going to be interesting to see how long he's able to maintain that level and still be effective.
This is just his 4th start of the season. He has appeared in all 9 matches for head coach Neil Collins.
It's a great decision by Cronali just to knock that ball back, get another 30 seconds of time, keep possession, make Tampa Bay chase a little bit.
It's all about picking your spots now, isn't it, for the Indy 11?
Absolutely.
This Indy 11 team has not had a draw this season. All of a sudden, a draw isn't exactly a bad result.
What a touch.
Watson, crafty, the veteran. Plays it across. Kelly goes the turf, but trying to get a look from the spot, won't get it there. Walker. And immediately puts his hand up, that's my fault. And we saw him as a reserve play the last 30 minutes or so against Red Bulls 2 on Sunday. You got to wonder if he is 90 minutes fit. You've already had to use 1 sub, so you got to file that away if you're Martin Rennie and staff in half number 2. The bounce of the home turf favoring the Indy 11 there. Fans, be sure to tune in next Wednesday, May 8th, 8 o'clock Eastern time for the ESPN USL Championship Game of the Week on ESPN2. These Tampa Bay Rowdies travel to Music City to take on Nashville SC. It's the week's best matchup on the Game of the Week, May 8th, 8 o'clock Eastern on ESPN2. Of course, Nashville invested heavily in the offseason as they'll make the jump to Major League Soccer next year. Lancaster from Louisville City, he of the 26 goals. Daniel Rios from North Carolina FC. Carlton Belmar from Swope Park. Not to mention Old Man River, Matt Pickens in goal. A talented team, Nashville SC. I believe Indy sees them here at the end of the month, and then they go to Nashville at the end of July. Newton races off his line.
That's just so well defended. You know that you've got your players in this really compact box, and Tampa Bay is just knocking around waiting for an opening. It doesn't happen. They play it over the top. You collect it easily. You kill a little bit more time.
Well, again, for folks just tuning in, you see it on your screen. It'll be on there the rest of the night. The Indy 11 playing with 10. A pair of yellows shown to Patty Barrett. One for an altercation inside of the 18, setting up for a corner kick. The other for a foul given at midfield. And the Indy 11 had been playing a man down for the last 16 minutes. Kelly.
Great run by Ina Volkson off his shoulder.
But the man that had him hemmed in, we are familiar with him in Indianapolis, Pape Diakite. Saw him develop as a young pro with FC Edmonton back in the NASL days. He was signed by Tampa Bay. They went through a rash of injuries last year. He was signed literally the week that Indy played in St. Petersburg in late July and started after he was signed that week. He is an absolute tank, and I mean that in the nicest way possible. And Kelly whistled for a foul. And now Kelly goes to the turf. We play on, but right now the Indy 11 playing down 2, and with that the match is stopped. Let's take a look here at what might have happened.
So they just with the contact looked like just kind of tweaked it a little bit funny.
Yep. All-time leading goal scorer in the history of the USL. 71 for the native of Jamaica, Jorge Herrera. I've already used Old Man River once. I can't say it again, but I'm pretty sure he has played in Charlotte since the dawn of Western civilization. 67 goals. Yeah. That's the next closest player to him in the history of this league.
And you know, it looks like there'll be a little bit of separation as Kelly continues to kind of be at his peak, and Herrera is coming off the bench a little bit more.
Herrera 37, I think, at this point.
Yeah,
but
it's incredible.
He was a joy to watch play for Charlotte a season ago. So Kelly will have to re-enter from the sidelines momentarily. The Indy 11 down 2 men. And you see the notation for Patty Barrett as he had to exit stage left and not of his own accord a few minutes ago. Take a look. Foul number 1 that drew a yellow. Foul number 2, yellow plus yellow equaling red. By the way, these two will not see each other again until October the 12th. And given how physical it's been early, that might be a good thing.
Let everybody calm down a little bit.
For everybody involved. And Hackshaw boots that ball down the field. This Sports the Match presented by the Indiana Economic Development Corporation. Take your business to the next level in a state that works. State and this team there's a conversation to be had about that. That comes your way at halftime. A special conversation with team owner Ersal Özdemir. Dane Kelly, as you see on your screen now, has been waved back on. By the way, in the other match taking place in the league tonight, Red Bulls 2 have a 1-0 lead over the Birmingham Legion. That, like this match, is in minute number 39.
Who scored it?
I will look that up for you.
I think it's Barlow. Is pretty impressive.
Derek Etienne. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. But yes, Tom Barlow has been fantastic for them. Had one of the 2 goals against the Indy 11 on Sunday. And you'll give space in the midfield here if you're the Indy 11. You're trying to play passing lanes at this point and make life generally difficult for the Rowdies. This is their second Wednesday match in a row. They beat Atlanta United 2-4-1 a week ago. Oduro, right idea. Just couldn't time it out. His intended target was David Najum.
He kind of changed thoughts mid-strike as he was going to play the ball in front of the defender, and then he saw the run getting cut and didn't pull back on it and just overhit it.
We referenced the knee injury that Sebastian Guenzati recovered from 3 years ago now. Najum, very similar, got hurt beginning of last year. This is just his second start of the season, but does have a goal in limited minutes so far in the season for Tampa Bay. Final 5 minutes plus stoppage time of the first half, brought to us by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. Indy 11 backs are happy to hang on to the ball as long as they're not pressured currently. Great read by Fernandez. Better takeaway by Matt Watson.
Excellent recovery.
And we have seen Matt be forced to kind of play more of a flank role than, say, more of a midfielder role this year than, say, last year. Think back to this match and all back to March against the Charlotte Independents. He's been tremendous when asked to do just that. And now Guenzati whistled for a foul. And a bit of frustration, I don't think from Guenzati or Edric Cronali, but Guenzati's been kind of chirping in the referees here for most of this match. Cronali seems not too bothered by the whole situation. And Newton, he's over 30. We can call him a veteran now. When you're playing a man down, you buy some more time in the first half too.
Boy, did you see how they compacted around Dane Kelly?
Again, this team, just 4 goals allowed in 8 matches played, and no more than a goal in any single match. As my partner talked about earlier, just 1 second-half goal has been allowed this year.
When you look at that last buildup from the 11, you had and this is where I think the opportunity is going to come from. You got Voltson and Ioze underneath Kelly. Both of those guys are creative. They see things three-dimensionally, and they can both deliver a dangerous ball.
This is Kone. And again, all kinds of space. 35 yards from goal for Tampa Bay. Now Fernandez. And Watson will buy some real estate.
But Fernandez is so quick in delivering that serve.
We last saw him against the Indy 11, at least on a regular basis, while playing for the New York Cosmos 4 years ago when he was on loan from the Philadelphia Union. Leo, born in Brazil, but grew up in the New York area. He was named the young player of the league. That basically meant age of 23 and under. 4 years ago while playing for the Cosmos, had 8 goals that season.
So, Coach, this is one of the things that gives you a little bit of confidence. You know, you've had the red card, you're down a player, and everybody on the field already understands how to kill off this half and get you to halftime where you can make some changes and adjustments.
This is a veteran side you are seeing on the field for the Indy 11 tonight. A side that's well conditioned to be put into this situation. And Tejada couldn't make the turn. Ouimet. We've not seen that much of Ouimet in the last month, but not surprised when his number was called, he was ready.
Yeah, it is a great defensive play right there. Tejada, you know, he's turning into a tougher shooting angle as opposed to laying that ball back to Fernandez, who's making that cutting run across the top of the box. They're so good in tight spaces, Guenzati, Fernandez, Tejada, that you want to play those combinations as opposed to looking at trying to do it all yourself.
3 minutes of stoppage time will be added at the end of this half. And stay tuned, a special conversation with the owner of the Indy 11 and Ursal Ozdemir comes your way at halftime, plus a look around the USL Championship for the best of Week 8. Opportunity here with space, something the Rowdies have not had much of since going a man up. Tenari couldn't get it through Hackshaw. Guenzati off the side netting. And think about that, really, since that man advantage, I'm not sure there's been a shot on goal.
No, the 11 have done a great job of taking a difficult situation and really not exposing themselves to any kind of dangerous opportunity.
And there's a lot more soccer left to play, but this is potentially one of those things you kind of file away for later in the year in case you find yourself in a similar position again. Well done by Ouimet. Kelly could have hooked onto that. Might have been one of the rare opportunities, and Tejada whistled for the foul. For Ouimet, this is just his 3rd match of the season. If you're Martin Rennie, what's your message to your guys at the break, Brad?
Keep doing what you're doing. I'd love to see the game slanted away from Fernandez. He's showed nothing against Najim, but Fernandez is so dangerous, and he's able to get that serve off so quickly that if you can push the game to the other side of the field and reduce his touches and limit his touches in the second half, I think you're going to be more effective.
Kelly whistled for the foul. Good job by Oduro to get in the way. Closing seconds of half number 1. Talked about slanting away from Fernandez. Well, they've been playing uphill at the Indy 11 for nearly the last 30 minutes. Glance at the wristwatch. A second glance at the wristwatch. A longer look at said watch. Diakite The flick by Fernandez, that'll do it. Just one moment without possession, enough to stop half number one. And Martin Rennie will have some pointed comments for anybody wearing a red shirt on his way to the halftime locker room. The Indy 11 will play a man down for the rest of the match. Currently not playing a goal down. 0-0 in their first match at Lucas Oil Stadium since March 31st. Scoreless here at halftime at Lucas Oil Stadium. While the Indy 11 have been away for a month, the activity on the home front has been concerned about a new home for the Indy 11. 11 Park. A major move has happened in the last couple of weeks with the passing of Senate Bill 7 that was then signed by Governor Eric Holcomb. Earlier this week, I had a chance to catch up with Indy 11 owner Ursal Ozdemir to talk about just that. Joined now by the owner of the Indy 11 and Ursal Ozdemir. It, of course, has been a monumental couple of weeks for the Indy 11 and for soccer in Indianapolis and the state of Indiana with the passing of Senate Bill 7 and then the requisite signature from the governor of the state of Indiana in Eric Holcomb. Ursal, I know it has been a great week. It has been a long process, but now that we are to this point, just kind of your thoughts and emotions on the subject.
Well, it's a historic day for soccer. Historic day for Indiana to have a permanent home for our fans to enjoy and put us on the stage, not only around the country but around the world for years to come. So it's the historic day for all of us.
I know that it is a lot closer to the finish line, but it's not to the finish line yet. So what are the next steps in this process?
Well, with the support of our fans, we had thousands of fans to reach out to legislators. We're able to get the state to support the SB 7. So right now we're going to be focusing on the site selection.
Mm-hmm. From a fan standpoint and other interested parties, I'm sure they'd love to know date, time, when is the first ball being kicked, when is the first shovel going into the ground. Are we to the point where we can talk about date and timeline yet?
So we have an initial schedule. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we have to consider the future years for the league. Our league plays in March. Mm-hmm. So ideally, we would like to spend this a few months to site selection. Mm-hmm. And then work with the design team on the design. And if all goes well, our target will be to start construction of the project next year about this time, and to deliver the stadium March of 2022 season opening.
All right, we've referenced fans numerous times in this interview already. Anybody that knows anything about Indy 11 soccer knows how wonderful the fan base has been even before the first ball was kicked and just to get us to this point. The fans were great in terms of their feedback and letting their legislators know how important this project was to them. What can fans do now from this point on?
Well, we appreciate, obviously, without the fans, we wouldn't be here today.
Yeah.
When the right time comes, we'll celebrate this victory with them. It's obviously, again, historical moment for the future of soccer in Indiana. And we appreciate them continue to support, obviously, our efforts. We're going to be working on having some town hall meetings in the upcoming months to discuss and get inputs as we zone into a site that will be the future home of 11 Park. We want them to be engaged and get their thoughts and ideas, as well as we want them to continue to support our team because of our current scheduling conflicts with the Lucas Oil Stadium. We have only played one game in the last 2 months, but we have 5 home games back to back. It's a lot of games. Love to be playing home, but obviously we appreciate our fans to step it up and come out and support us in the month of May with a lot of home games.
No doubt about that. So 11-park.com for more information about this once-in-a-generation opportunity that is getting closer to happening here in our great city of Indianapolis, and to simply follow the day-to-day progress of the Indy 11 with 4 match wins in 6 matches played so far. Go to Indy11.com.
Again, great to catch up with Indy 11 owner Ursal Ozdemir earlier this week about the bright future ahead of this franchise. Every week, the stars shine bright in the USL Championship. Time now to show you the best of week number 8.
Shot! Score! Now Morton's coming up. It's headed and in. Nodded back in. Sandoval is there. So is Hamilton. Loose in front. It's Freighter! What a hit! New Mexico equalized in the dying moments. It's a hat trick for Freighter. Unbelievable at the lab. Pablo Campa with a direct free kick. Chips it. A goal! The equalizer for the captain. Lomas in. Lomas! And how about North Carolina FC? Lomas with his 6th goal of the season. Back to the goal scorer. Barnby will try again. And another. That is absolutely world class. That is much harder than it looks to do. Didi Traore. Oh my goodness, what a run. Didi Traore crosses. Didi Traore! It is a work of magnificence.
And so with that, here's the way the standings shape up in the Eastern Conference. Again, the Indy 11 in 7th, but if you look in terms of points per match played, they're in great shape with 4 wins through the first 6 matches played. And as referenced earlier, only Birmingham and Ottawa also have played 6 matches. They're currently behind the Indy 11 in the table. But you also look at the fact that several of the teams you see on your screen are opponents for the Indy 11 during the course of the month of May.
we spoke about how Tampa Bay has done a great job putting the ball in the net, but also keeping it out. Look at that goal differential. That leads both divisions, East and West.
Number 3 tonight, number 4 coming up on Saturday night. As far as scores from elsewhere around the league, our out-of-town scoreboard brought to us by Crown Plaza Indianapolis downtown. Let them assist you with your next meeting or event at halftime. That one goal has stood up for Red Bulls 2 as they lead Birmingham Legion. Then there's more Eastern Conference action on Friday night. Loudoun United FC, and of course a team that Indy played just a couple of weeks ago, Bethlehem Steel FC. That game in Northern Virginia coming up on Friday night. Here's some storylines from across the USL Championship. In the Western Conference, very little separating teams out there. We've referenced the fact that Tampa Bay is unbeaten in the season. So too the Foxes of Fresno FC. 2 wins, 4 draws. But again, the big news for the Indy 11, reference with Ursal Özdemir a bit earlier in halftime. Senate Bill 7, signed by Eric Holcomb, passed by the Indiana legislature. There's still some more work to do, but the home for the Indy 11, Brad, has never been closer.
Yeah, it's so exciting to see. I mean, you go back to Indiana soccer, how great it's been, and you can go back to Dr. Alan Kantner and Mike Vogel, the guys that really started club play, the Capsalises here in Indianapolis, and now you look at what Ursal has done for soccer in Indiana. It's incredible.
Evan Newton back on the field getting ready for half number 2. His teammates will be joining him soon. We'll catch up with head coach Martin Runny when we come back as you're watching Indy 11 soccer on Wish TV and ESPN+. Back at Lucas Oil Stadium, Indy 11, Tampa Bay Rowdies are scoreless. Second half action is not that far away, nor is our conversation with the head coach of the Indy 11, in Martin Runny, who joins us now just off the side of the pitch. Clearly not an obstacle you were hoping to deal with tonight, playing a man down for majority of this match. What was your message to your guys at halftime, Coach?
Yeah, well, obviously frustrating to be in that position, but now we need to make the most of it. I thought we defended well, and we're actually good on the ball, even with 10 men. I thought we were playing well in the game before that as well. We were on top and looked strong. So now we've got 45 minutes where we're going to have to work very hard and dig in, but we're ready to do that.
Obviously, you were forced to make a tactical change as far as bringing in Carl Wimet for Tyler Pasher. Anything else from a tactical standpoint you try to switch up in half number 2?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're going to have to push and probably push more and more, so just to see if we can take advantage of that in behind maybe, and that's maybe one of our best options, maybe a set play as well. And other than that, just make sure we defend well.
Coach, thanks for the time. We'll talk to you after the match.
Okay, thanks.
Head coach Martin Rowdy of the Indy 11, and again, a degree of difficulty he was not hoping to have in this match that he now has alongside Brad Hodder, Greg Rakestraw, and I think to his point, they had the better of it in the first 20 minutes until that happened. Again, while possession certainly tilted in favor of Tampa Bay, like I referenced, there's not been many looks on goal in those 25 minutes since.
Right, and I think you're sitting okay to be able to navigate this. You've got the speed and you've got the high soccer IQ from the guys on the field.
Look at some first half highlights, and most of the shots you'll see from the Indy 11 happened before Patty Barrett was asked to leave the facility.
Right, it's a different game at this point where you're not going to sustain that possession. It's going to be, just like Coach Rennie said, you're going to try and pull him out of position a little bit and see if you can get him on the counter.
And the guy that had the best look of the game, the guy that no longer is in the game, Patty Barrett right here.
It was a great hit and a great save.
It also speaks to the ability of John McCarthy. He's been flashing that all season long.
That's such a tough save because you got Hackshaw and Ina Voltson making a run right in the middle, and he's got a key on those two, and Patty's just sneaking in behind and gets a great piece of it, but he's kind of disguised in there.
Again, the Indy 11 already used a sub after Barrett exited, with Ouimet entering the match in place of Tyler Pasher. And Tampa Bay's about to make their first substitution of the game as well. As looks like Leon Taylor will be entering the fray, not at the start of the half, but at the next stoppage of the half. Right, and now he'll be waved on site. They would be playing a man down. So he is in, and I believe he is in for Caleb Richards as the player he is replacing. We'll check on that momentarily as well. We were impressed by Richards' ability. And there's a look for Kelly. Kelly with the left foot.
Love it.
Doesn't take long. By the way, Richards is still in the game. It's Jordan Doherty as the player that has exited for Tampa Bay. Let's take one look here. And you saw that ball ricochet off the hand of Diakite. But advantage was played, and it may be a night for that level of magic for the all-time leading goal scorer in the USL Championship. Foul is called with push on Tejada. Watson, how about that?
What strength.
That's a stiff arm right there. Opportunity here. Trying to cut it across, but instead you take the corner, and now
absolutely
this is your chance.
He is so good in attacking the edge defender and creating dangerous opportunities. But wow.
That is a victory for middle-aged guys everywhere. Watson at 34.
Oh, my goodness.
Dispatching Kone to the turf.
I tell you, this is one of the things that the 11 has to play for, is corner kicks, dangerous restarts, and utilizing Iose's left foot.
Ouimet, one of the favorite targets of Iose a season ago. Can they connect again? Anna Voltson got the last touch to it, but obviously nowhere close to frame. Goal kick coming for the Rowdies. Carl Ouimet last year missed just 3 matches all season, so already Ouimet has missed more matches this year than he did last year. But Ouimet with 3 goals, every one of them on service from Iose. So if there's a corner kick or a set piece again, look for that connection from number 7 to number 20. And a foul whistle against the Indy 11. This portion of the match brought to us by the Denny Companies, tearing down the past so you can build the future. Look at David Najim. Played his college soccer at Columbia. He, as well as Tenari, both played in the Ivy League. Najim was the Ivy League Offensive Player of the Year in his days at Columbia in his senior season. And we have seen some pretty good Ivy League players come through here in the past as well. Duke Lacroix, Craig Henderson come to mind. Great sliding challenge by Oze, and plays it off the boot of Tejada.
I saw Duke got Team of the Week a couple weeks ago.
He did. That Team of the Week 2 weeks ago you're talking about had Dane Kelly as the Player of the Week, but then had former Indy 11 players Ben Spies and Duke Lacroix on the Team of the Week. And it had recent Indiana grad Andrew Gutman on the Team of the Week for the Charlotte Independents, and we saw him get a goal against Indy back on March 15th. Of course, we saw a former Hoosier and Reese Buckmaster playing against the 11 on Sunday for New York Red Bulls too. We'll see a couple of more from North Carolina on Saturday night. The sun never sets on the Indiana soccer empire.
I like that. That's well done.
Thank you. I may have borrowed from the British Commonwealth, but imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Getting away of that cross was Watson.
This is good. Just try and get them frustrated and see if you can't get them to play a ball that they don't want to play.
Watson's been outstanding. And Kone, a little easier time dealing with Kelly than he had Watson just a couple of minutes ago. Now Najim. Najim gives it a go, and Newton can just watch it sail up and over the bar.
Yeah, that's got to frustrate Coach Collins. You take a look. You're hitting the ball from 25 yards out. You're good. You've got guys that are good in tight spaces, very creative, able to play a one-touch combination game in the box, and you're hitting the ball from 25 against the goalkeeper of the year last year.
Tonight's match presented in part by Community Health Sports Medicine. Dream big, work hard, and finish strong. Let's face it, so much of the energy and emphasis that we have seen in talking about this Indy 11 team has been about their offense, and understandably so. They have won 3 matches away from home. In all of those matches, they've scored 3 goals. It's not going to be one of those nights tonight for the Indy 11 as Ouimet is whistled for a foul. This is you're going to see what the defensive mettle of this club is. Had a pair of clean sheets so far this year. One of those was the victory here against Hartford Athletic, a Hartford team that had to play their first 8 games on the road and have 0 points from those 8 games. The other was the 3-0 victory against the Bethlehem Steel a week and a half ago. And Cromartie will simply watch that ball slide across the end line for a goal kick. You see Neil Collins. Neil finished his playing days with Tampa Bay and went directly into the coaching ranks. And he was dealt a tough hand last year with the injuries they went through the entire season. That team can never get healthy. When they lost here in Indianapolis on September the 26th, that really ended kind of their playoff possibilities. I think if they had a better degree of health last year as Taylor gets whistled for the push, they would have been a playoff team.
It was impressive that they were in the hunt that late, considering the hand that they had to play all season.
It is easy breathing for the center backs when they have the ball at their feet tonight. There's not going to be a high press from the Indy 11 as long as the game stays on level footing.
Yeah, and that's where it happens sometimes. You relax a little bit mentally, the touch gets away from you, and you got a guy with pace that recognizes it, and he makes the decision to follow the right ball in. Well defended.
Najam. Now Tejada. That ball deflected off of Hackshaw. And Cronali saying that's a throw in. That's going to be ruled as a corner. Apparently it will be. Cronali had lobbied for the fact he thought it was a throw in. Officials say otherwise. It's Fernandez.
It's a great serve.
And right to Newton. And frankly, there was simply a miss on a header.
Yep.
There was an opportunity. And now you play long ball for Kelly and hope he can latch onto it. He does, but keeps possession for a little more than a millisecond. And now with numbers stretched forward, opportunity here that Hackshaw will thwart momentarily. Fans, you can get updates and alerts all year long by following your club at ESPN.com. Search for Indy 11, then click the follow button to keep up with the latest news and scores. Plus, get reminders on the 11's next match. Go to ESPN.com now and click follow for more on your club. That's the voice of Evan Newton that you're hearing calling the shots from inside the 6. Good build up here. Cronali and Watson combined to at least avoid the corner. Deflection off of Walker, and Enevolson boots it forward. Brad, what is Evan Newton telling his defenders right now?
He's trying to help them understand when he wants them to press, where he wants to cross from, what angle he wants them approaching from, to make his job a little bit easier.
I believe that ball came off the back of Gibson.
I think it did.
That went into the hands of Evan Newton. Sometimes as a keeper, sometimes the ball finds you. It was one of those cases. And Newton will watch that one tail harmlessly away from frame. After tonight's match, Tampa Bay has the weekend off. And as referenced, they've got another important midweek showdown on Wednesday in Nashville.
That is going to be a great game.
You can watch it on ESPN2 at 8 o'clock. Indy plays on Saturday, then they are off until their U.S. Open Cup match, which will be played at the Selig Bowl on the Butler campus. Ticket information available at Indy11.com. They will either play Lansing Ignite of USL League One or AFC Ann Arbor. Looking back post. Cronali got there first. He gives the corner.
That was a dangerous ball. Great read by Cronali. Great win.
And we're seeing this Indy 11 defense be tested more than they have at any point in time this season. And so far they are acing the quiz. Another good setup by Tampa Bay, just couldn't get that decisive touch just outside the 6. This portion of the match was presented by Delta Faucet. See what Delta can do.
Incredible. Iose, with no space and guys around him, just does magical things with the ball.
I think Iose could tell you exactly where the ball is going to go, and he'd still find a way to get it past you. Good look at Leon Taylor, who came on for Jordan Doherty at the beginning of the half. Taylor from Dallas. Let's turn 26 years of age.
Tough turnover. You needed to hold that ball just a little bit of time. Take some of the pressure off your back line.
Gibson got there for the Indy 11. On the ball sent in by Tejada. Good read by Ouimet. Here's a counter opportunity. Ina Voltson flies forward. Ball played forward for Kelly. Not a great touch from Ouimet. Now he's got to recover and get back down the field. Tejada got to it, but steered it right towards the post.
Such a missed opportunity. You had Ina Voltson, you had Kelly, and you had space. If nothing else, even if you don't develop that into a shot, what you've got is the ability to breathe a little bit on your back line.
So now what you do is you direct that to your goalkeeper. Take a little time before you send this ball down the pitch. Here's a look. Ina Voltson sizes up Kelly. Turf monster got him.
Just a little bit behind. If that's into his front foot instead of his back foot, he's in the goal.
Jose takes a tumble, but was ruled to have been responsible for that. If he's joining us, Indy has been playing a man down since the 20th minute. Patty Barrett picking up a pair of yellow cards in the first 20 minutes. And Watson again. Playing larger than his height and weight would indicate in the program. His 14th year playing professionally in North America. After 1 year of college soccer at University of Maryland, Baltimore County. Spent time with Martin Runny in Major League Soccer with the Vancouver Whitecaps. Antoine Hopino about to enter the fray for the Rowdies, become their second sub of the game. You got to be a bit more judicious with the subs if you're Martin Rennie, knowing you've already had to use one to make a tactical change to bring in Carl Ouimet and replace Tyler Pasher.
You still got a couple weapons, so it's using them at the right time. Good double.
Close out by Iose. Top player for the Indy 11 a season ago was Iose. And it's in a match maybe without that much to cheer about for the Brickyard Battalion or the Indy 11 faithful. But to be honest, in this scenario, boring is beautiful.
Yeah, and this is one of those games too that can galvanize a team, and you can pull some really good confidence from a match like this.
Najim exits. Antoine Hopino enters. It's his 7th match of the season, his 4th appearance off the bench for the reserve from Paris. Fans for standings, stats, all the latest league news. Be sure to visit USLChampionship.com.
Substitution for Tampa Bay. Rowdies in the 63rd minute of play. Entering the match 29, Antoine Hopino.
As I visit USLChampionship.com, I can tell you the Red Bulls have scored twice since halftime. Red Bulls 2 now leading Birmingham Legion 3-0 in the 66th minute. And they were very impressive against the Indy 11 on Sunday, ending what was the longest winning streak in Indy 11 history. Opportunity here. Gibson sizing up his options.
Great decision.
Ioze plays it across, but crosses the end line. Goal kick coming. Remember a year ago, Red Bulls 2 handed the Indy 11 their worst defeat of the regular season, 4-1 on Memorial Day weekend. Year in, year out, they have been very competitive since joining this level.
Dangerous opportunity.
Ball sent across. Ouimet was there. Ouimet is in the business of preventing those dangerous opportunities.
Yeah, there was a little bit fortunate. There was a tough hop for Fernandez that had him adjust his serve.
Ball sent in. Wenzani stumbled. And there's Watson, as he's been there all night long, just to knock that ball to the seats. Good combination play here. The blast, not close to frame.
Take that all day.
Oduro. And if you look at most of the shots taken, even since the man advantage for Tampa Bay, they've been from outside the 18.
Yeah, no, they've been effective in the second half on both sides at the top of the 18, about 5 yards out, serving a bent-in ball right between the 6 and the 12. That's where they've been effective. So to settle for a shot from 30 yards out is, you know, it's playing into what the 11 want them to do.
This Porsche the Match presented by Honda Manufacturing of Indiana, official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. Of course, these teams played multiple times every year from 2014 through 2016. They did not see each other in 2017. Tampa Bay made the move to the USL a year before the Indy 11 did. But Tampa Bay owns one win in Indianapolis over the years. Got to go back to 2014. Foul called against Watson. Kone sends the ball in, and again, right idea, just a little bit too high for Taylor. Now Ioze will try to latch onto this one. And Ina Voltson couldn't keep it at his feet. And blames the Gatorade cooler.
That was tough. They're coming with such quick pressure to the ball.
And Ina Voltson, and that's, now he's going to get whistled for the foul, but the center back in Diakite just tried to take him out, basically. Just put a shoulder into him and got in his way. If you're Ina Voltson, what are you supposed to do about that?
Well, I'm not sure that's the right response. Hey, look, I've seen Danes get upset. You don't want Danes to get upset.
This is the part where I mentioned that my broadcast partner played in Denmark and is married to a native of Denmark, as Thomas Ina Voltson is. It took some frustration out of the Gatorade cooler, then on Pape Diakite after that.
Be a costly turnover.
Ouimet, well done.
Yeah, that was a tough scenario to get out of.
Again, he's trying to play the long ball to Kelly. But possession has been limited at best for the Indy 11, especially in this half. Right idea, just not on the same page are the Rowdies. And Newton with a goal kick.
And you can hear Newton's communication through that. She's telling Kenny Walker there's a guy on his right. You're man down, and so what you have to do is you got to make quick rotations and quick shifts and try and leave the far guy open and really compress and compact things in the middle.
Who's up, who's down, where does your club sit? Find out every Monday in the official USL Championship Power Rankings only at USLChampionship.com. And a foul whistle against the Rowdies. You can tell that Sebastian Guenzati disagrees with said decision. Kelly, is this the moment?
Yep.
Kelly couldn't get there. McCarthy is injured behind the play. They'll stop. Kelly and McCarthy both going for it. McCarthy has played every minute so far this year. And clearly you're not seeing his reaction as much as you're looking at Kelly, but
I think he came out for that ball with an extended arm, and I don't know if Kelly hit it where it hyperextended or perhaps caught it. It's one of the things with the goalkeepers too is the way you land sometimes, because your arms are extended, that shoulder has a tendency to pop out.
Chris Konopka is the backup netminder for the Rowdies. And you can see the pain that he is in. And there is Konopka. Spent time previously with Minnesota United in their NASL days. FC Edmonton as well. Has played with Cardiff. Spent some time in Scotland, Ireland, and even the Kansas City Wizards. And if you played for the Wizards and not Sporting Kansas City,
right,
lets you know you're a little long in the tooth. We talked about how young this roster is. Konopka is their oldest player on the roster, as he just turned 34 a couple of weeks ago.
You remember those old Wizards jersey, the powder blue with the wavy colors, and Precky's wearing it, and I don't think I've seen, well, maybe it's just me. I'm not really a fashion guy, but boy, that jersey didn't do it for me.
They were the only soccer team whose kit was inspired by the mid-'80s Denver Nuggets. Had a little bit of the color palette on it. So obviously Konopka is getting ready, knowing he's going to have to enter the game. What this also will do will then be Tampa Bay's last substitution of the game.
Right. And you take a look too at the pressure that they applied through this whole game in chasing down loose balls and looking at double teams. They applied so much pressure early on that you really want, as a coach, to have that sub in your back pocket.
All right, now that he is kind of in a seated position, we're going to take a look. We've got 3 different looks to show you, but again, it's the shoulder that is the issue. Take a look here. And the Brickyard Battalion is getting the same look that we are getting here. And it's the right shoulder. Now, as of now, McCarthy is going to try to stay in the game.
Unbelievable.
But Konopka is going to continue to get loose.
Good, good on a lot of levels. One, it saves that sub.
Yep.
And then 2, one of the top goalkeepers in the league isn't going to be out for a month.
And they are off until Wednesday, so he's got some degree of time to heal up.
He's going to have a rough flight home.
The good news is he's able to kind of put his hand. He wears the headgear, just kind of took it off just to move that shoulder, see how he's doing. So another subplot is added to this match that has seen Tampa Bay play a man up for some 50+ minutes. Konopka will continue to loosen, but McCarthy is staying in the game. And obviously there will now be some significant added time at the end of the match. Right-footed shot doesn't
Well
get through.
played.
Walker with the block. And Newton off his line makes the play. And Hackshaw gets the love from Evan Newton because he didn't allow Leon Taylor anywhere close to that ball. This Sports the Match is brought to us by Ivy Tech. Careers start here. Apply for free at ivytech.edu.
Well, you had a couple missed touches on the Tampa Bay back line that, you know, if Ina Voldson or Kelly can just pick that right time to go.
And you see Kelly now taking a seat on the turf. He went down earlier, and he may be saying his night is done at this point. Alioune Diakite will enter immediately. Alioune appearing in his 5th match of the season, but all of his time on the pitch has been limited. He's played a whopping total of 12 minutes so far this year. But his story is remarkable. Open tryout. Not invited to the open tryout. Showed up at the open tryout and made his way on the Indy 11 roster.
We talked about this maybe 20-25 minutes ago, that he is made for a moment like this. Because he's not a seasoned veteran, his runs are chaotic, and he doesn't come with a predictable blueprint. And so that's a tough read for the back line of Tampa Bay, because he's got pace, he's got a bit of an edge, and you don't know what he's going to do.
Native of Senegal, has played in Lebanon, Serbia, and played in the Ukrainian semi-professional league. Ouimet is there, and that ball ricocheted off of a Tampa Bay player.
Tell you that the 11 back line and even the midfield, when you take a look at what Kenny Walker did in the last one, they're doing an incredible job of just absorbing, and then finding that right moment to get stuck in.
Tonight is the start of a 5-match homestand for the Indy 11. The boys in blue back in action on Saturday night at 7 o'clock. It is Brad Ring night as they play host to North Carolina FC. And as Brad and I are used to saying, good things happen when the Indy 11 play North Carolina FC. The artist formerly known as the Carolina Railhawks. For more information, indy11.com/tickets.
And good things happen when Brad Ring's in the building too.
Retiring at the end of last year, one of 2 Indy 11 players to have appeared in 100 appearances with the club. Don Smart being the other. So both teams still have 1 substitution remaining, with McCarthy soldiering on with the shoulder injury suffered in the collision with Dane Kelly. Tejada sends it in. Hackshaw steers it right back out. Now a corner coming. Then when Karam's away from Matt Watson. Cronali got there first. Hopino. And there's Diakite. And Diakite doing a good job of hanging on to the ball. And now Ioze. Great pressure by Tenari. That's well defended by Tampa Bay.
It was. You had the right guy with the ball at his feet, and then the right guy on the edge of the back line.
And opportunities have been so few and far between for the Indy 11 since going a man down in minute number 20, but especially in this half. Tejada's offside. By the way, the third and final sub for Tampa Bay now with McCarthy able to continue on. It's going to be Brandon Allen that is going to be brought on. So with that, we will not see Zach Steinberger feature against his former team this evening. Instead, Allen, 25-year-old from New Jersey. Let's look at Zach. It's wonderful catching up with Zach on Soccer Saturday this week on 107.5 FM and 1070 The Fan. Allen does have a goal in 5 matches played this year.
Great step.
Cronali ruled to have gotten a bit more than just the ball. And Cronali comes up a bit worse for wear. So the Indy 11 do have one substitution available to them. He and Taylor collide. Of the positional players, Macaulay King, Lucas Farias, and Nico Matern are the options for head coach Martin Running. Tejada. And again, up and over the bar. That was more of a cross than it was a shot, but still. For Evan Newton, he's been able to just kind of watch a lot of balls kind of sail away or over the bar at this point.
And you love it. And every one of those buys your back line a little bit of a rest, gives you, 10 seconds to find the ball, find the right spot inside the 6, take a little bit of time, and then drive it up the field.
So Allen in, Fernandez out. Substitutions have been used for Neil Collins tonight. Tarek Murad will be one of the substitutions not used by Tampa Bay this evening. Einar Voltson, can he find it? Yes, he can. Einar Voltson.
Wow.
And McCarthy.
He knew he had him. He knew he had McCarthy a little bit off his line, and what he needed with that ball laying up like it did, he needed to get under it a little bit more, because you can put a nice dip on that ball from that distance.
Also just wanted to test McCarthy, see how the shoulder is working. Didn't have to extend it too much on that play. 5 at the back right now for the Indy 11.
This is the one, Tampa right now a little bit slow in their recovery.
Tenari has been tremendous in midfield. Cronali has been just as good at center back for the Indy 11. Now Diakite. And yes, Diakite plays for Tampa Bay. Diakite plays for the Indy 11. Something different every night.
Oh, what a ball.
Walker. Einar Voltson. Einar Voltson plays it across, but nobody there to latch on to it.
What a ball. That's the one you're looking for. That's the one you're looking for.
But now with some numbers thrown forward for the Indy 11, a little more space to operate for the Rowdies.
Great effort by Gibson to make that 50-yard run to come back and help compress play.
Hackshaw there. And Diakite goes to turf. Be sure to tune in next Wednesday as these Tampa Bay Rowdies take on Nashville SC. It is the ESPN USL Championship game of the week on ESPN2. It is 2 of the best in the Eastern Conference and the entire USL Championship. Catch it next Wednesday, 8 o'clock, May 8th, ESPN2.
Hey, that's a veteran move right there, to take that foul, to slow your play up, get run over there. You know that Gibson has just made a 50-yard sprint defensively. You know that Einar Voltson has just made a 50-yard sprint offensively, and you're a little bit stretched. This allows you to get some shape, get a little bit of a rest for some guys.
Iose. And Tejada. Iose makes the turn. Plays it across.
Oh my goodness, what a serve.
Diakite, the player closest to it for the Indy 11. There's Cronali yet again. Well, pick your defender. He'd be the man of the match for the Indy 11 so far. Has some space for Guenzati. Guenzati couldn't find Taylor back post. Fans, wherever you go, take the boys in blue with you. Download the all-new Indy 11 app in the Apple Store or get it on Google Play.
You got a lot of guys who have an empty tank right now, and you've got to navigate these next 5-6 minutes plus whatever that stoppage time is, you know, very, very smartly. Pick and choose your times to go, but you cannot afford to get stretched right now defensively. Right now, you've pulled a point in this game. You start getting stretched defensively because you're not willing to do the work to get back, or you make a run that you shouldn't, and that's going to cause some problems.
This is a team that I didn't think we'd see many 0-0 draws this season for the Indy 11. This would be a glorious 0-0 draw for the Indy 11 tonight. If they can find a way to somehow get a goal, it'd be even better. Watson with the read.
Here it is.
Ina Bolton makes the run with them. Gets it right back. Diakite and Gibson applying support. Watson earns the corner. This is your chance.
You'll take it. You'll take it. Iose's got enough left to serve that ball. We met Cronali in the box, but I'll tell you what, very impressive defensive effort by Oduro in that situation.
Tenari, knowing there's a little bit more in the legs of the Rowdies, kindly places the ball on the corner. Okay, fellas, you can speed up if you'd like to. By the way, the final 5 minutes plus stoppage time brought to you by your Central Indiana Honda Dealers official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11.
This is a great game. This is a great game. Everything from the tactics of it to the effort to the energy.
Iose. Wimet got ahead to it.
It's a tough one. I mean, you love the fact that we you know, Wimet's not going to quit on that ball and go up for it, but you would have loved to seen Ina Bolton call him off and come in on that ball instead of backpedaling to try to head it.
By the way, the Red Bulls 2 now leading Birmingham 4-0. That is in the 89th minute. Those are two of the top 10 teams in the East facing off, just like we are seeing here this evening. Walker. Ina Bolton was perched at the midfield stripe. And Gibson kind of has to play at the space because Ina Bolton was offside when that ball was played by Gibson. And that will be a foul. Hackshaw goes to the turf. And Taylor drawing the attention of members of the Indy 11, and Taylor's going to be shown a yellow. We have not seen a yellow card directed at Tampa Bay this evening. We're about to. And again, Hackshaw will wipe some of those pellets off of his shoulder, take a little more time. Yellow shown to Taylor, his first of the season. As we mentioned earlier, Dominic Oduro has 4 of those. He came in on a 1 away from a caution at this point, or as far as having to sit down because of too many yellow cards. You accumulate 5, got to sit for a match. I think you're looking at least 4 minutes of stoppage time because of the injury to McCarthy. Because of the numerous substitutions in the half.
Tough ball, tough ball.
Good read. Good wide play by Tenari. 3 in the box to choose from, but Ouimet, the guy that finds it first.
Good.
Ball deemed to have been off of Gibson last.
Tell you, the energy Gibson's played with in his last 5 minutes is impressive. You know he's gassed.
Opino, left foot doesn't get through. By the way, 5 minutes of extra time. Oduro trying to find a window. Couldn't do it. Much like the roof at Lucas Oil, the windows have been closed all night long.
Good chance here.
Diakité's onside. Ina Voltson plays him forward.
Oh my goodness.
And that,
oh my goodness.
From our angle, which is similar to where that ball was played, he looked onside to me.
I thought he did as well.
We'll get a good look here.
Well,
nope, you're right. He just snuck.
Good call.
Great job by the linesperson. We were wrong. He was right. Offside.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fourth official on the sideline has indicated that a minimum of 4 minutes will be added to the end of this second half.
And they decided to change their mind back to 4. Should have listened to me the first time. When Zadi plays it across, Hackshaw is there.
Good turn.
Diakité. Looking for Ina Voltson.
My goodness, what an effort.
Couple inches away from getting through. This Indy 11 team had some post 90th minute magic last year.
Oh, that'd be something.
And they haven't had to dial it up this year. An opportunity here.
But you get a corner kick or you're able to get a restart here.
Heading into the Brickyard Battalion end. Free kick coming here for Tampa Bay. Nico Mattern, by the way, will head to the 4th official to be the last substitution of the night for the Indy 11. And that could be as much about time wasting as anything else. Onside here is Tejada. Now Tenari. Ball. Walker's there to sweep it away. On the deflection.
Oh my, that was the one.
That was set up. Walker and Gibson.
Oh.
And that'll be a throw in coming for Indy. But player down is Diakité. And on the sideline, Tyler Gibson and Neil Collins are having a bit of a heated exchange in front of the Tampa Bay bench. And there have been numerous services like that, primarily on corner kicks, where simply if the ball's a couple inches this way, if a header doesn't miss, we're having a different conversation about this game.
Right.
So Mattern will enter. Ina Voltson will exit. And again, this is about point preservation. Mattern's had the start in the last several games. Second-year player out of Germany. Played 1 year of college soccer at Indiana Wesleyan. He was the Diakité for the Indy 11 last year. Ball sent in, headed down, but not on frame. And that by far was the best look of the night for Tampa Bay. It comes in the 94th minute. And Guenzati feels like he should have had his 6th goal of the season.
He had the right serve at the right place on the field to the right guy, and he missed it.
Best, maybe the only great look of the night, happens in the 94th minute.
has been a 0-0 draw this year for Tampa Bay. That was against Loudoun at home at Al Lang Stadium on March 30th. Still some time here, a last gasp opportunity. Tejada plays it across, but can't keep it in the field to play, and that was no deflection there. That's a throw-in for the Indy 11. And you will happily take the point and walk away if you're Indy tonight.
Absolutely.
Having played a man down now for 75+ minutes. Well, not the way you had envisioned starting this homestand, but you feel good about it if you're the Indy 11. And that's the end of business tonight.
Heroic effort.
Sometimes a draw feels like a loss. Other times it feels like a win. Tonight, it's a win. 0-0 here at Lucas Oil Stadium. Time now for our West Fork Whiskey shot of the game. Indiana's premier whiskey distillery. There will not be many shots that were taken in this game. There will be some shots taken by those that played in this game after it for the hard work they put in. It's the blast by Thomas Enevoldsen, parried away by John McCarthy very early in this match. Again, our shot of the game brought to us by West Fork Whiskey, Indiana's premier whiskey distillery.
It's a great shot. Boy, they tested McCarthy early from distance, but not random. I mean, they were some good shots, some good opportunities.
The Central Indian Honey Oilers post-game show comes your way in the not-too-distant future. First, final thoughts on the match that was. Scoreless in Indianapolis on this Wednesday night. Indy 11 Soccer on Wish TV is brought to you by Community Health. Dream big, work hard, and finish strong. Community Sports Medicine, official sports medicine provider of the Indy 11. And by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, proud to be the official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. 0-0, the final score here at Lucas Oil Stadium. 0-0 often isn't appreciated. Believe me, it is tonight for the Indy 11. And Brad, simply put, for the first 6 games, so much of the conversation about the Indy 11 was about what they could do offensively. Tonight, we saw what they could do defensively. This is a result this team will grow on going forward.
It was a great effort defensively, but you know, so much of that also goes into the tactical IQ of these guys and understanding, you know, the how they had to finish this game off and the adjustments in real time that they had to make. Just a really heroic effort.
Tampa Bay gains a point on St. Louis as far as the top of the table is concerned. The Indy 11 gain a point as well. Get to 13 on the season. Again, they will not see this team in Tampa Bay until their final road regular season game on October the 12th. They'll You'll see another top 5 club coming here on Saturday night, though, in North Carolina FC.
And what's great is a game like this where you had to rely on some different guys. You had to rely on guys in different spots. And carrying the energy from this into Saturday night it's a good thing.
Neville Hackshaw signing an autograph. He was one of the defenders that played so heroically, a man down for more than 70 minutes tonight. We'll talk to several of those defenders. We'll also talk to head coach Martin Runny when we come back with the Central Indiana Honda Dealers post-game show. Next up for the Indy 11, North Carolina FC, Saturday night, 7 o'clock, right here at Lucas Oil Stadium. As always, we thank you for watching Indy 11 Soccer right here on Wish TV and ESPN+.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.